in my mind, it's going to be like a follow the money piece. So starting with sales team.
Typically, we will get loans in from predominantly brokers and occasionally direct borrowers.
Joe Griffin.
And where are you from?
London Penthouse.
That will come through either via phone call or maybe an email with some information. If it comes through to one of my team, they will review the deal. They might call the broker with some additional questions. Our view has always been the more information you can give us, the more of the story that we can understand, we've got a much better chance of creating a solution, a set of terms that works for us and for the borrower and for the broker, from the broker's request.
They will then put that into the same way they do on a bridging loan into an inquiry page on TAV HQ.
So once we've come up with a solution, we will provide terms. Those terms have to be approved by one or two main people in this business, myself as sales director or Duncan as CEO. Once those terms have gone out, they can be electronically signed, so no paper waste anymore, no, oh, my scanner's broken, my printer's run out of ink. That is digitally signed by the borrower. As soon as those are signed, you are redirected to our electronic application form. Now that application form can be opened by both the broker and the borrower, and they can fill that out simultaneously without saving, making a copy of the PDF, sending it over, having to print and do that. It can all be done on their computers at the same time as one workable document. That can then be signed by the broker and by the borrower digitally. As soon as that's signed and press send, we receive an immediate notification within our Slack channel. We get that immediately because it's linked in with our platform that we've built from scratch, plus with all the tech for the application forms and terms. Underwriter will get notified.
It's basically a airspace deal. So the client was building on top of a block of flats, purpose-built block of flats, and they were going to build some more flats on top of that. Because it's airspace, there's a lot more for you to look at. The fact you have an existing structure there, you need to consider weight restriction. So you're gonna have more flats going on top. Can the building carry the additional weight? What's the value? Existing tenants, do they consent to the works? There's obviously going to be noise. There are new laws to protect tenants, even if they don't own the flats in the block. Just the fact there's going to be a considerable amount of noise, they could put a stop to the development. So there are a lot of things to consider. What are the cost of works, cost of materials? How long is it going to take? And ultimately, what's the end value? Is it, the costs going in? Is it going to come out and wash itself, really?
Once the deal's been underwritten and quotes have been acquired for valuation and legals, the underwriter will send a list of what the broker is required to provide, what the lender is needed to provide, and what the lenders need to provide. That list gets worked on. As soon as we receive things, the list goes back out, and everything that we've received gets taken off. So it's a constant dialogue, constant access to the underwriters. They're not hidden and behind a computer as keyboard warriors. Ultimately, we only make money if we lend, as the brokers only make money if we do the deal as well.
So monitoring surveyor plays an absolutely crucial role. With development projects, you will have the day one amount that we would give the client. The client would subsequently do works. A monitoring surveyor will be instructed by ourselves to go out. Bear in mind, the monitoring surveyor would have gone out right from the beginning just to have a look at everything. They also work in tandem with the surveyor just to make sure that initial report is fine. They verify the costs, everything that needs to be done. So they've got a good understanding of what needs to be done, and they'll go out every so often. The client will get in contact with them to say, listen, please come and have a look. We've done XYZ amount of works, and they'll need the money back from us. So essentially we're lending in arrears. Monitoring surveyor goes out, takes photos, puts together their report, and they're basically stating XYZ number of works have been done. It costs XYZ. This is what your client has spent. We agree with this. These are the things that we think you need to get, or further information you might need to obtain, etc., etc. Subject to that, this is what you need to reimburse the client.
Okay, so today we're going down to one of our development sites in West London, in Acton. We've had a draw request in for some funds to further advance the project. This is for kitchens that are being installed, bathrooms that are being installed, floors that are installed, painting is doing well, and the monitoring surveyor has been down to the site. has given us some information about the draw request, and what we're doing now is we're going to visit the site, meet the client on site, see how he's going, talk about the site, understand a little bit more what their next phases are, and just go through the monitoring surveyor's report to ensure that the drawdown is as expected with all the funds available. Nothing untoward is expected at all. It's a fairly straightforward process. We don't necessarily visit the site on every single occasion, but this is a significant one where kitchens and bathrooms are going in. That's a really positive step. It brings us towards the sort of latter phases of the project, and what we'll see from that is the flat's actually starting to take shape rather than just being a building site where you've got scaffolding up and the roof going in and potentially some walls in various places. We're actually seeing the flat take shape. All the walls will be up, probably some of the doors will be up as well. Lighting should be in a good position, and then following that we're getting to the end stage of the project.
The underwriting elements, EJ did the underwriting. He came to visit site quite early on, up on the roof, where it was scaffolding and steel beams. So he could talk about his experience of seeing that, which is not something he sees regularly, but very much appreciates seeing.
To be honest with you, mind-blowing experience. I remember going there, and you go and you look at it and you think to yourself, oh, okay, I can't really see how this is all gonna come together. And you climb up, and that in itself is a bit scary, you know. I don't really like heights, so going all that way up was interesting, and it's just amazing how much detail and experience the client had. I actually went on the site with Ellie, and at first they were speaking in a language that I just completely did not understand. It was really mind-blowing how they were describing where everything was gonna go. So that was a interesting first experience.
Yes, this is a rooftop development in Acton, where we work with London Penthouse. This is Joe, the owner of London Penthouse, is somebody I met on a rooftop in Highgate many years ago, and incidentally was introduced to us at TAB by Matthew Cleave, his broker. This was a site that they had achieved planning for. They were looking to build 4 2-bedroom flats on the rooftop of an existing building. I came down to site to see the works that had started to begin, and Joe was keen to get a development loan to help facilitate construction through to completion of the project of this wonderful flat that you see around us.
The value of the 4 new apartments is approximately 2.2 million, so 550,000 per unit. We are sitting in a top floor apartment in Linton Court in Acton. So the project is a new build airspace scheme of 4 2-bedroom apartments. The purpose of the loan is to fund the construction and the professional fees to deliver the development. A quantity surveyor, as I'm trained in that field, we have a sort of core team of professionals like structural engineers, architects, that we use for different projects depending on the areas, the size. From a construction point of view, we are fortunate enough to have our own in-house construction team of project managers and carpenters, multi-trades, and we also have a pool of trusted subcontractors for your specialist trades, plumbing, heating, electrics. I've been in construction since I was a young man. At 16, left school and worked with a construction company as a trainee quantity surveyor. From first speaking to TAB, or introducing or speaking about the opportunity to TAB, I think we closed in six weeks, which was pretty quick. It was quite a complicated deal structure. So this particular deal is a joint venture with the freeholder, but the loan has been given to me as borrower, or one of my SPVs, and TAB Security is a third-party charge against the freehold, which I know from experience that a lot of other lenders have found it tough to get their heads around and get comfortable with, and this wasn't a problem for TAB.